Brett Go. Okay. My friend James spoke highly of your coaching talents. Oh, awesome. Yes, James is awesome. Okay, cool. So, everybody, if this is your first time seeing my face, I am Angel. I'm a brand coach, and more specifically, I call myself a brand impact coach. So, what I do is I help folks who are really over the 9 to 5 grind. Maybe you have this really amazing business idea, and you're like, I want to start it and I think it can be successful, but I don't know what the heck to do. Like, I don't know how to get started. I don't know how to build a brand. I don't know how to market this thing. And you are looking for support and an experience to help you with that. So what I do is I help folks who are in that space, and I, through coaching, take you through this really transformative experience where you begin to kind of take off that employee hat and you put on and embrace this entrepreneur lifestyle, right? Because it takes a huge shift in thinking to get from point A to point B. And so I really support you in that, as well as giving you actionable steps so you can develop a brand that has the ability to scale an income to a place where you're able to work it full time and go ahead and leave your job behind. So that's what I do. Now tonight, towards the end, I am going to talk to you about some of the things that I specifically do, and if anyone's interested in working with me, I will share that. But this conversation tonight is really about coaching in general. And so I have been in the coaching space for approximately 3 years now, and I have learned an absolute ton. I kind of started out more so doing consulting, and so now I'm at a space where I do a combination of coaching and consulting for folks. And so I know a lot of people, these days it seems like a lot of people are coaching, right? There's a lot of people entering into this space. And I know some of you may be thinking about working with a coach, or may think you may need a coach, whether it be for business or some other area of your life. And you're like, how do I even choose, right? How do I even evaluate what a coach is supposed to be doing? How do I know that they're going to serve me well? What are some tips and tricks for like finding a really great coach? Do I need one at all? That is what we're going to be talking about tonight. So hello. And then if we have anybody, I missed that. Let me go back. Okay. A 40-year-old vegan. I don't think I got your name, but you say you're from Houston, Texas, a vegan chef, interested in learning more about branding. Okay. Welcome. Hey, Synonym. Hey, Lillian. How are you? How are you doing? Lillian Synonym for You is in the building. She joined me yesterday on YouTube. So Lillian, it's so great to see you again tonight. So yeah, guys, we haven't gotten into anything good just yet. I was just introducing myself and kind of setting the tone for tonight's conversation. So if you know any friends who've been thinking about coaching in any form, doesn't have to be just business. It can be people who are maybe looking into a fitness coach. That's very popular, life coaching. Go ahead and tag them, because we're going to talk about coaching in general and really answer your questions about coaching and understanding this industry better, so that if you are thinking about hiring a coach, you can be informed and confident in your decisions. So welcome. So you may see me looking down. I have some notes here because I'm like, I want to make sure I cover all these points. So the first question you may be having is, what is coaching, right? Like, what the heck is it? Everyone says they're a coach these days. What is it? So coaching, it can come in a variety of different forms, but essentially what it is an experience that is designed for you to be able to unlock your potential. Okay. So that's in a nutshell what it is. If you look up coaching, you'll probably find a definition similar to that, right? It's an experience that helps you unlock some form of potential. It's very supportive in helping you. And this kind of, there's another question that's coming up as I'm speaking. But it really supports you. It's very goal oriented. So it really supports you in meeting a specific type of goal in a particular area of your life. And so oftentimes it includes elements of mindset work. Is very heavy part of it. Sometimes certain elements of therapy. There are certain therapists who do life coaching or do different forms of coaching as well. So those things, they're definitely related in the self-development space, but they're not the same thing, of course, because someone does not have to have a therapy license or any sort of advanced degrees, particularly to be a coach. And so that kind of leads me to another question, kind of what's the difference between therapy and coaching? And so, of course, one of the obvious differences is the credentials a person has to have to provide you therapy. Like if you're a therapist, you have to have certain certifications and things like that. And if you are a coach, there aren't any certifications necessarily that you have to be able to coach someone. And it's not you providing any sort of therapeutic services per se if you're not an actual therapist. So that's one of the differences there. Another difference is typically the way that you will work with the person. Therapy often is diving into like your past and different traumas or different things. It's kind of like where you go when you're asking the why. Like, why do I do this? What is it about you're digging oftentimes in past and childhood and trying to understand why certain thought processes, why certain actions and behaviors that you do, kind of like trying to understand the origins of those things. Coaching is more so actionable. So you're not spending a ton of time typically, unless you're going through some sort of therapy coaching hybrid. Typically, you're not spending a lot of time in the past in coaching. You're spending time in the present and you're planning for the future. So that's part of the difference. And of course, there are elements where you dive into psyche and you dive into habit and you dive into mindset and belief systems, but it's not necessarily to heal trauma per se, right? There's certain coaching that may do those kinds of things, but it's more so to get you to a place mentally that you need to be at to achieve your goal, right? And it also is going to arm you. Well, I'll get into that in a second. But that's kind of the difference between therapy and coaching. Now, when you get into like what coaching looks like, there are so many different formats. There is not a one size fits all. So you have group coaching, you have one-on-one coaching, and I'll dive into what the differences are. Of course, group coaching is when you're with a group of other people who are at a similar level. They may have similar goals to you, and you typically will have one, or perhaps if you're working with a larger company, there could be several facilitators or coaches that are supporting you in getting to a particular type of goal. Typically, if you're in a group coaching program, you're doing work with other people in that program as well. So you're getting an experience where you have this coach who's facilitating, who's guiding, who's advising, but you also have this supportive network of peers that are also supporting and working with you as well. And I'm gonna make sure I turn this down a little bit more to make sure it's not interfering. Okay. So that's what group coaching looks like. And then when you have one-on-one is more intensive typically. So you're having one-on-one sessions with someone virtually or in person where you're diving into certain things, right? Based on like what your goals are. So if you're in fitness, that can look like a combination of maybe that person is providing like personal training for you. They may be, depending on their package, they may be coming over to your home, looking at your fridge, giving you advisement, maybe going grocery shopping with you and helping you learn how to pick out proper foods. They might be coming up with a nutrition plan for you. They might be helping you and actually working with you in the gym, working with you on different fitness goals. So it really can run the gamut as far as what the service can look like and what can be included. Now, what you will often see these days, what's very popular, is hybrids between kind of course/coaching type of packages or programming that people are offering. And that kind of falls into the space of what I offer. So you'll find people who are maybe educating, because sometimes people need coaching and they also need education. And so you'll find that hybrid, right? You'll find that there's an educational component where you're learning new things and you're going through some sort of modules or course material. And then there's going to be this element where you're getting the coaching. And the coaching is going to be your ability to, your space where you're reflecting or synthesizing the information that you're learning. So oftentimes when you have a course, for example, and I bought a ton of courses, I'm sure a lot of us have bought courses before, and it's like you buy a course and you're working through the material on your own. And there's really no, like you work through it and maybe you're learning some cool things, but it may not be super clear within that course how you can actually apply the information so that you can achieve your goals. And so that's where like the coaching element will come in, where they're like, okay, here's the information, but in this coaching part, we're going to actually break down how it's going to apply to you, right? How it's going to apply to you and how you can utilize and put this information into action so that's actually helping you reach your goals. Now, there's also components of coaching. Coaching is not a do it for you. So, and what that means is coaching, I'm going to say most of the time, it depends on the offering that the coach is giving, but typically coaching in itself is not someone doing something for you. So that's not someone doing your website for you per se, right? That's not somebody doing your social media marketing for you. If we're talking about business coaching, it's going to be someone advising you about and helping you work through different challenges as far as what you should do, but it's not necessarily doing it for you. So that's something to think about. Now, there are some coaches that offer packages that include some done for you type things, right? Where they're going to do certain things for you in addition to coaching you and in addition to maybe giving you education. So when you're thinking about what types of coaching is right for you, if it makes sense to have a coach, you really want to be thinking about what is it that you really want to achieve. And if it makes sense based on like what is being offered, if it makes sense, if you're going to get what it is that you desire. Okay, that's a very important point. And one of the things that I encourage people to do who are in business in general, this is like a little just side tip. But when you're developing a business, there's a lot of customer research that you have to do. And so one way to do that customer research is looking at reviews of competitors. And so what I will do is I will look at reviews of people from other coaches, and I'll listen to what they say. I'll take notes, so that I can tweak my offerings as well. And so maybe I'm not falling into certain pitfalls that other coaches have fallen into. And so there's a video that's coming to mind that I watched on YouTube where there's a particular coach that I like. I watch her YouTube videos. I haven't invested with her financially just yet, but I like her YouTube videos and things like that. And someone gave her a review, like a negative review on YouTube. And so I was listening to what this person was saying. Of course, I have my coach brain on. I'm not like the regular person who's just going to go and start bashing that person. I have my coach brain on. And so what I heard this woman basically communicating is that perhaps she did not have a clear understanding of what she was going to receive in exchange for her coaching that she was paying for. And it was pretty expensive what she was paying for. So I don't think she had a clear understanding of what she was supposed to receive. And so therefore her expectations were not met. So I think she thought she was going to get some do it for you type of things. I'm not exactly sure what the coaching, like what that coach had said she was going to deliver, but what this woman kind of expected is not in line with what most coaches would offer. I think she expected it was some form of business coaching. So I think she expected like her website to be put together, or it wasn't even clear what she expected, but she kept mentioning something about a website. So that indicated to me maybe she expected her website to be taught how to put together a website. She wanted information about that. Now my coach brain is like, that's not what she was going to teach you. like, I don't know what she told you were going to get, but I'm pretty sure she didn't tell you she was going to teach you to build a website, right? Like, and this is something that you want to be thinking about when you're thinking about what it is you want to get. Because a coach is going to teach you certain things, but when it comes to very specific skills, a lot of times coaching programs don't address that. That may be better for a course. So for example, if you want to know how to build a website using Squarespace, then you may want to look at some free videos on YouTube or look up an online course that you can do yourself that's going to take you through the step-by-step process of building a Squarespace website. If you're paying a coach, that's like low stuff. Like you don't even want to mess with if you're paying for a coach and you're investing your money into a coach, you want that person to be helping you with more high level issues. And that I notice a lot of times, even when I'm speaking to people and I'm doing my client calls and I'm asking them what it is they're looking for, a lot of people will say low level things like that. Like, well, I'm looking for someone to help me build my website. I'm not your person. Just get a course or just look at free YouTube videos to learn that. Like, I'm not here to teach you. That's a low level issue. I'm here to help you elevate your mindset from employee to entrepreneur. I'm not here to teach you something that you can easily Google. I'm just not. If a coach is teaching you something you can easily Google, you don't need them. If I can Google it and get the same thing, then I don't need the coach. And so that is what you need to think about. If you just want to learn a skill, you just want to learn how to work out, you just want to learn just very simple stuff, don't worry about a coach. Like, a coach is going to literally, and it's similar. I mean, a lot of us have played sports and things like that, and we've had coaches. So we understand a lot of times what coaches do in terms of sports. But like, there is some level of education that this person may be exposing you to around the topic at hand that you're hiring them for. So if it's fitness and nutrition, they may expose you to some information around how to think and make choices between like different foods and workout exercises is the word I'm looking for, exercises and things like that. But they're teaching you more so mindset, and they're more so working with you over a period of time. And typically a coach is going to work with you in some sort of increment of time. So for me, I work with clients 3, 6, and 12 month increments, mostly more so around the 6 month range. So if you're having a coaching program, typically you're working with that person over a period of time. And through that period of time, they're taking you through this experience. But the way I think about coaching, and this is me talking, this is not like what everyone thinks maybe, but what I think is the of coaching is so important. So coaching is a co-creation process. So I am working with my client, and we are working together to get them through the goal. And I'm more so working from a mindset perspective, an advisement perspective, a professional perspective, but I'm not there to do the work for them. So that's really important to know. And did I hit on all my points? I think for the most part I did. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, or even click below and use the question message thingy, question message tab below, and I'll get to them. So it looks like Lillian has a question. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anybody. And as you're coming in, please introduce yourself. Give me your first name, tell me where you're from, and either give me a question or tell me what you wanted to know and why you joined tonight. So Lillian says, what is the difference between low level and high level? So I'm assuming low level coaching and high level coaching. So, and this is a point I did miss. I think that's a great question. That's an awesome question. So here's the thing. No coach is going to say I'm a low level coach. You know, no one's going to say that. So it's really about the difference between coaching and therapy and things like that, of course, is the degrees and certifications and things that you need. But when you're looking for a coach, you want someone who has results. You want someone, so oftentimes you're getting a coach maybe from referral, or you're getting a coach from, you've seen them, they have really great reviews, like people speak very highly of them online, or some maybe you heard them speak somewhere and you did some due diligence and you're like, man, this person is really transforming lives. So what makes someone qualified to really be a coach is their ability to help people get results. It's that simple. So the difference between someone actually being a low level or high level coach, again, that person's not going to identify themselves as a low level coach, but it's really as that person providing, or that company providing, a high level experience for their audience or for their clientele, in which their clientele is able to achieve their goals. That's essentially what it boils down to. Is that client, as a result of this really high quality experience, able to achieve their goals? Are you able to take them to a destination? That's the most important thing. And that's kind of what's going to differentiate between a low level and a high level. And so that is why you'll see a lot of coaches doing coaching that is more attached to some sort of very tangible goal. So business coaching, and under business coaching, there's a number of different types of coaching. So there's brand coaching, there might be a marketing coach, there's financial coaches, business development coaches, different types of coaches under the business umbrella. And so if you're a coach under the business umbrella, why a lot of like that coach may incorporate elements of life coaching into what it is they do, but they want to help you get to a tangible result. And sometimes with life coaching and things like that, if it's not niched into some very specific category, it can be hard to really help people to get results and to be effective, and then to get people into the program as well, like whatever programs that you have. What types of brand coaching is there? So I don't know that there's like uniform, oh, this type of brand coaching, that type of brand coaching. Again, what you want to ask, I call myself a brand impact coach because I help people who want to build brands that want to make an impact. So what I mean by that is they're building a brand not only around their area of expertise, but they're building a brand also around their desire to make the world a better place, right? They have some higher level purpose and drive behind their brand. So I'm really helping people want to build brands that make impact. And that's different from just building a brand just for purposes of profit. It's different when you say, I want to make profit and I want to make a difference in the world. So that's why I call what I do brand impact coaching. I think for you, Lakia, because I know you mentioned that you were possibly having a consultation with someone, which is great, which is ideal, is what you should definitely do. Like, you should definitely hop on the phone with this person and be ready to ask questions. Think about what it is that you want to achieve. And when you're speaking to that person, make sure you're asking questions so you can better understand if what that is that they offer aligns. Because that, I think, was a lot some people are bad coaches, but I think also what happens is there's a miscommunication around what someone is expecting versus like what the coach is going to actually be offering. And so you want to close that gap. You want to do, that coach should be doing their part to close that gap with you, but you should also be doing your part to make sure that if you're going to be spending money with this person, you're going to get out of them what they want. So when you say brand coaching, do you want this person to help you to build a brand? Do you already have a brand, but you want this person to maybe help you fortify that brand and then potentially help you, give you advisement around marketing and sales? Like, what is it specifically that you want from them? Okay, so another question from Lillian. What could I expect from the type of coaching you offer, and what could I expect from the free course? Awesome. So Lillian, you've already sat in on this. So the free course is the Brand from Scratch Masterclass. It's a little bit reworked, but it's essentially the same information. So you have joined that that session before. So it's not really a free course, it's just a free masterclass that I have linked in my bio. So if anyone's interested in building a brand from scratch, I do have a free class linked in my bio that you can go ahead and check out. And it basically teaches you the 5 fundamental elements you need to build a brand. So Lakia, that could be great if you haven't already checked out that course, or excuse me, that class. If you haven't already checked it out, check out that masterclass maybe before you speak to your person. So that will give you some, at least you'll kind of go in knowing, okay, these are the 5 elements of the brand that I need. Which elements do I have or not have in place? And then how do I want this coach to maybe support me? And then the second question you had was, what could I expect from the type of coaching you offer? That's also a great question. So I offer group coaching and one-on-one coaching. So I did kind of talk about the difference for that. And so most of my clients have either gone through my group coaching program, or maybe they were already at the level of where we could work one-on-one. But essentially the way I work with clients is, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're a 9-to-5er and you're in the early stages of building a business, either you just have a concept and you're starting to build it out, or maybe you have kind of a business you formulated, but it's not, your brand isn't strong, and maybe you don't feel super confident in it and you're not bringing in the revenue that you want, then I take people through my group coaching program. And so in that program, we work together. Essentially, if you're on top of all the entire program, it should take you 8 weeks to complete it, but you have access to the program longer because, of course, people have different things going on in their lives. You may miss a week or something like that. And so it includes an element of coursework and group coaching. And so what happens is, I take you, like, in that master class that I talked about, that I have in my pinned comment, I share the 5 elements of your brand from your brand framework. And so in this course, I essentially walk you through creating your own brand based on that framework. And so by the end of that course, And there's more information linked to my bio if you want to look more in depth. But by the end of that course, you should be at a space where you have a strong brand, right? You have your brand in order, and you have a plan for marketing and sales. And if you already have a business, but your business is operating kind of in its infancy, then you're at a space where you fortified the pieces of your brand that may have been kind of weak, and you have a stronger marketing and sales strategy based upon what you've gleaned from going through the program. And so what is included in that is also an access to a community of peers who are at the same position, but are also are the same position of you as you in entrepreneurship, but in the elements of in areas of their career and their experience, they're super fly. Like my folks that are in my program now, I mean, some of them have 20 years of experience in corporate. Like, they're super sharp. Like, they may be new to entrepreneurship, but they know a lot of things, right? They know a lot of things about business. They know a lot of things about finance. I have some CPAs. I have some coaches in my program. So there's oftentimes what happens is these folks who are in this program are maybe knowledgeable in their careers. Maybe they've been in it for a few years, but the entrepreneurship thing is what's new. And so what I'm supporting you in doing is closing that gap. So that's what you can expect, is that combination of the knowledge, right? But also that space to reflect, to synthesize. Was also included in that as a one-on-one coaching session with me. So you're walking away from that program having the specifics you need for your own brand. Because that's what a lot of times is missing in some of these programs. Is like, you don't get the support you need to know what you need to do for yourself. Like, you might get some good information, like, oh, that sounds good, but like, how do I apply it to my business? So that is what you get with that. And then also I have a one-on-one coaching programs that I offer too. They're completely customized for the individuals that I'm working with. And that is for people who already have an existing business or side hustle, but they're looking to scale it and market it in such a fashion where they can grow their income so they can leave their jobs officially and completely transition into their business. And so that's what I do in my one-on-one coaching. And if you want to check out my link, if you want to know more, I do have links for the one-on-one and group coaching in my bio, and you can set up a call with me. The process to actually move forward is to set up a call with me, and in that call, I talk to you. I understand better, like, your brand challenges, what you're going through, if it makes sense, if what I offer makes sense for what it is you're looking for, and if it does, then I offer you an opportunity to definitely for us to work together, and if it's a mutual fit. But if not, I have no issue with saying, you know what, based on what you're saying, I think actually this would be a good resource for you. So there are times I have calls with people, and maybe we're not aligned for whatever reason, and so I recommend them where to go elsewhere. So that is essentially what I do. And okay, so I have another question a first question from Refined Kinetic, and she says, how developed should your brand be before you invest in coaching? So here's the thing. It doesn't have to be developed at all. Like, you have to find a coach that is going to help the person. Okay, you have to find a coach that helps clients where you are. So there are certain coaches, and this is when you're looking at their website, typically they'll explain that. And on my website, I put, my client is this kind of person. My client is a beginner. The clients for my group coaching programs are beginners. They don't have to have a brand, right? But some people, they may say, I work with six-figure entrepreneurs. So to work with them, you already have to be a six-figure entrepreneur. So it really depends. And a good coach who has good, a clear copy or text that explains their programs is going to typically share that with you, to say, my client is a person who's at this level, they have this going on, and maybe even this type of problem. Because a coach in general, like, there's no such thing as a all-in-one coach. Like, every coach is going to have a specialty in certain types of problems that they specialize in solving. So you have to look for a coach, whatever level you are, you have to look for a coach that addresses that level. Hey, Liz. I don't know if you're still here. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Kiera. Yeah, so if you all have any other questions, feel free to use the question thing. Let me see. I don't see any questions in there just now. Or use the comments. It's all good. And I'm just going up here waving at everybody. Yes. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so feel free to ask any more questions. And let me see, I'm gonna make sure I went over everything. Let's see. Also, I have some Clubhouse invitations if anybody has an iPhone and isn't on Clubhouse already. Just shoot me a DM if you're interested in getting on the platform, or you know someone who is, and I can definitely support you with that. And tag folks in this conversation you think would benefit. Like if you know someone who's been looking into hiring a coach, feel free to feel free to tag them in so I can talk to them and they can join us in this really great conversation that we're having. I feel like I'm gonna turn my music up a little bit. It's a good song on. Okay. So yeah, and then one of the things about coaching too that you'll find is some of the differences between like a good person, like a good person in a particular area and someone who's great is oftentimes they have a coach. Like I think coaching is something that only now has become more accessible to people. Like for a long time, a lot of people did have coaches, but you didn't know, like they had coaches they were working with, and you know, it's not public information. Right. But now it's like because of social media and coaching being able to be done virtually now, that we have, and there's different price points for it, that we have more accessibility to it. So definitely understand that if you're someone who wants to reach a different level, a next level in some area of your life, whether that be business, dating, fitness, those are some of the most common coaches that you'll find, life in general, mindset, then investing in coaching is a great way to help to expedite that growth. Okay, Lakia, so regarding building your brand, what does that look like in your session? Is it deciding like brand identity? Yes, that is part of what is included. So if you watch that free masterclass, I break down all the 5 elements that I go over. But that's definitely part of it. Part of it is your purpose, mission, and vision. Part of it is definitely your brand identity, including what you stand for, but also your aesthetic, your messaging, your target audience. Those are some of the things that are included. And so what we do is we have courses and assignments that I provide, but also each week you're talking with the group. So each week as a group, we're meeting for a couple of hours and we're addressing any challenges, aha moments. People are sharing tips. I'm sharing my advisement. If anyone is struggling or has any questions, a lot of times what happens as people are working through the program is like more questions will start to come up because your mind is starting, like the growth that I see with my people is like their mindset starts to shift where they're asking different questions. I'm like, yo, on week 1, you would not have asked that question. But on week 6, your mind is thinking differently. Like you're thinking like an entrepreneur and you're asking questions that an entrepreneur would ask. So that's part of what happens, and that's where the group coaching comes in because we're able to talk about that. Because every time we get together, people are like, oh, you know, I was reflecting and then I started thinking about this and I started thinking about that, and I'm thinking about my business in a whole new way. So yes, to answer your question, I feel like I went off on a tangent, but that's very true. Yeah, we do focus on those things, and it really helps you because to me, and this is why I stopped, like I used to do one-on-one coaching kind of for everybody. I wasn't as focused, and why I stopped doing one-on-one coaching for beginners is because I realized that for one, there's just like certain fundamental steps that are better communicated through a course type of format. Because there's kind of like a pre-education that you need to have before we're ready to work one-on-one, because our one-on-one is very focused on results. And what I noticed that happens is if that client is not at that level within their business, for us to get those results, it's not going to work. And so I want that person to achieve their results, and I want to be able to add value in the right way. So that's why I've given a lot of thought to how I deliver my services and what information goes into the group coaching versus how I work with a client in the one-on-one, and what types of people make sense for each part. And so, yeah, in the group coaching. And then also why I structure the group coaching the way I do is because there is a group element. And I find that when you're in the very beginning stages of starting a business and you've mostly been an employee, and this was my experience as well, I didn't have a lot of entrepreneur friends, right? I didn't have a lot of people in my network who ran their own businesses. I didn't have a community of people to come to and discuss challenges that I was having, questions that I had, best practices, get tips and advice, and things like that. So being able to have that community within this type of program, so as you're going through this, you have a community of people that are supporting you, rooting you on, sharing success, and you have a space to share your success with. Sometimes we're starting a business and our family isn't the support system. Our partners might not be the support system. And so this community, it gives you get the education piece, but you're getting that support that you need, because we're all human, right? We all want people to support us, to want us to do well, to be rooting for us. And so that's what that community aspect gives you, that you don't already, that you may not have, right? Depending on your situation. So, yeah, that's pretty much what the kind of, a little bit of an overview of the group coaching program. And what I want to do, because I have some people in my program now, and so when we're finished, I'm going to be doing some live chats with some of them. So go ahead, if you're not already a member, and join my She Live Club. If you just text She Live to the number linked in my bio, and I'll text you each time I'm live. But I do plan to go live with some of the students who've been in the class, so folks can ask them questions, because I want you to know, like, honestly, everything is not for everyone. So I think it's important to have experiences like that where you can talk to a real student. They can tell you what they liked about it, what they didn't, what would work for them, what were some best practices for like how they got the best out of the experience, and so on, so you could really figure out, okay, does this make sense? And so you'll see there are other coaches who do that, right? It's great to speak, if you're thinking about a coach, if you can speak with someone else they've worked with, that's a great way to also vet out that coach, right? And see if they're a good fit for you. Because again, some coaches are janky, right? But some of them may not be janky, but you may have an expectation or want something that is not necessarily in line with what it is that they offer. So you want to make sure that it's a good fit. And of course, you're looking at things like personality, gender, like whatever biases. We all have biases in our mind, right? So you want someone that you can speak to, that, you know, there's cultural commonality, if that's important to you. Maybe if there's gender commonality, it has to be someone you feel comfortable with, you feel comfortable talking to, you feel comfortable sharing to, and ideally somebody you like. You know, you're going to be, especially if you're working one-on-one, like you're going to be talking to that person a lot, and you might be sharing personal thoughts, personal feelings, and events, and shortcomings, vulnerabilities, and things like that. So you want to feel super safe and comfortable in that environment. So those are also things, just more soft things that you want to also evaluate. Like, is this the type of person that I jive with? You know, because sometimes you might talk to somebody like, oh, they got a little, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, I don't know if our personalities are going to match each other. So you want to look at that too. Like, does this person really, are we going to vibe? Because you want to vibe with the person. Like, and even when I choose clients, I don't work with clients I don't like. Like, I don't work with clients I don't like either. And I don't need anyone to work with me that doesn't like me. Like, we have to like each other, right? We have to respect each other. And when I'm working with my clients, again, it's not me being the expert and telling them, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. I listen, right? A lot of times the sessions look like me asking a ton of questions, because I want to get very clear on what it is you want to achieve and what challenges you maybe have. And then based on what I hear you say, I may offer advisement, or I may provide some sort of exercise or something to help you get the answers for yourself. You know, so I'm not here to just tell you everything, right? We're here to work together, because as a business owner, you're stepping into the lead. I'm not here to run your business. I can't run your business. I'm running my business. So you have to feel confident in stepping into your enterprise as the boss. And a lot of us, if we're so accustomed to working for other people, we've never been the boss. It's a shift to be the boss, to have all the decisions fall on you. And so I really support my clients in making that mental and oftentimes physical transition. Hey Tavia, how are you? So she says, I'm a great coach. Thank you. I appreciate you. So kind. Yes, so any more questions, and tag folks in that you think would enjoy this conversation. I am going to go ahead and leave it up on my IGTV as well, and I'm going to send the replay link out to anyone, everyone who's on my She Live Club list. So again, if you're not part of it, just text She Live to the number in my bio, and I'll send you a link to the live stream if you want to share it around with friends, anyone who wasn't able to come. If you like this conversation, let me know. Awesome. Okay. She says she's doing good. Hey, Rainru. Yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're at the point now for folks who are just coming in where I'm answering general questions about coaching. So if you are thinking about coaching or thinking about hiring a coach, whether it be for business or for some other area, and you want to kind of know maybe some best practices, or if you're in the midst of trying to make that decision and you want to ask about, maybe what's making you a little iffy about it, definitely go ahead and ask and we'll talk about it. Because I think also, thank you, Lillian, for the compliment. I think also coaching, I don't see a ton of Black coaches. Like, we're there, like there are Black people who coach, but there's not a ton. And I think that it isn't something that always has been accessible to us specifically. Like, it can be, coaching, I think historically can be very cost prohibitive, but now there's so much more access to it, right? There's payment plans, there's different ways to gain access to different types of coaching. It's becoming just more known about. And so it's something we have access to. And another thing that people often say is like, a good coach has a coach. And so I have a coach. I'm a part of different coaching programs and courses where I work with various people to help me get to the next level. So it's not something where I'm not, I'm trying to coach you, but I'm not trying to like also strive. I also have goals. I also have things that I am working through so I can help ascend to the next level, so I can serve my clients better. And so ideally, you want to be working with someone who's also striving, right? Who's also getting a coach, who's also working to develop themselves personally and professionally. Okay, so Lillian asks, do you use telephone conference calls or video calls or both? I use video calls. For when I do my initial calls, because anybody I work with, we have a free call first. And I talk to you for up to an hour. So anybody I work with, we speak on the phone for at least an hour first, because I want to make sure we get to know each other. We're feeling out the vibe, making sure it's a mutual fit. But I also want to make sure you're a good fit for what I offer, and if it's really going to be helpful for you. And then you also can evaluate that on my end as well. So the first step is always like, we're hopping on the phone. Then from there, if we decide to move forward, we're getting you enrolled in the program. And then when we start having our sessions, we're going to be meeting via video call, typically Zoom, for the group sessions as well as for the one-on-ones. And if you do the one-on-ones, you get notes and you get audio recordings after each session as well. So you'll be able to keep track. So if you ever at any point, maybe several months or a year down the line after you're done with your program, and you want to go back and revisit what we talked about, you'll have access to all that. So I keep all that organized for you. Awesome. So any other questions? I think I'm going to stay on for a couple more minutes. I'm going to have a sip of water because I feel like I've been talking for a minute. Hi, Shawnee by Grace. Welcome. So right now I'm just answering questions about coaching in general. What questions do you have about coaching? Are you looking for a coach right now? Are you considering some coaches right now but you're a little bit confused about who you should choose? Then we're gonna dive into that and talk about that. And also I shared some information if you are someone who is an employee and you're looking to transition out of that space and be a full-time entrepreneur, I do have a group coaching and one-on-one coaching available right now. I am accepting new clients. And so go ahead and check out the link in my bio where I have more information. And if any of those things resonate with you, go ahead and book a call with me and we can talk about it more. Okay. Any more questions, people? Okay, I think we are good. So I want to thank all of you for joining tonight. If you're not already a member of my She Live Club, please join by texting She Live to the number in my bio. That's where I will text you each time I go live. I don't spam you or anything like that. I just let you know when I'm live. And I go live a few times a week on YouTube, Clubhouse, and Instagram. And I have discussions like this. I talk about business, branding, coaching, transitioning from 9 to 5 to entrepreneur life. I have all those juicy conversations. So if you're looking to get connected to a community of people that can support you in that transition, definitely join. And also, I do have some Clubhouse invitations left over. So if anyone has an iPhone and you're interested in joining Clubhouse, go ahead and shoot me a DM, and I can help get you on the platform if you're not already on it. So thank you all so much for joining me tonight. Have a really good night, and I will talk to you soon.